easier because you can cycle to the airport. Often the flights, they take off at like 7 o'clock in the morning usually, or 8 o'clock. And you got to get there 3 hours before takeoff. And at that time, there's no trains. So I can cycle to the airport with the box on the back. It doesn't weigh that much, maybe 2 or 3 kilograms. It doesn't wobble that much on the rack. It's not that wide. It's the width of the 2 panniers when they're full, 2 alt-lead panniers. So it's really not that much inconvenient to have it on the back, despite it being so large. Once it's rolled up, it's really not a problem. So you can get to the airport with your bike without relying on taxi or anything. And once you land at the other end, you can just throw the box away. So I go to a local bike shop and ask them if they have a box. Usually it's not an issue. I think twice on 20 flights have I found it difficult to find one, but eventually I have. I think in Lisbon I had to go to 8 different shops before I found one. If you don't go early enough, they put their box, all their cardboard, in a compactor. There is size restrictions on boxes, but I've never had anyone measure it. If you've got disc brakes, I'd probably take the disc off and put it somewhere flat. The weight limit is 30 kilograms for Ryanair. I'm actually at 29 kilograms with all the luggage, but the bike itself is about 15. Once you've got your little sticker to put on your box, the airport security won't cause a problem because they're the ones that usually weigh it. And almost every time I've arrived at the airport, because the box is so large, they just ask me how much it weighs. So I take the front wheel off, I leave the back wheel on, I'll take the derailleur off. You've got to protect your gear hanger in some way, and I think just removing the derailleur is usually enough for me. I also remove the pedals. It's probably a good idea to do that, to loosen them before you get to the airport, because an Allen key could round off. You have to take the handlebars off, but you can just take the stem off the forks. I put a block of wood in between the front forks, and if I took the back wheel off, I'd do the same on the back. Lower the tyre pressure, but remember, the lower you allow your tyres to go, the more you're going to have to pump them up at the other end. And if you've just landed in a really hot country, the last thing you want to be doing is struggling to put like 120 psi back into your tyres with a little pump with a tiny handle and no gauge. I also cable tie a lot of things to the bike. There's no point like putting a loose saddle in your box just in case they tear the box. Generally the cost is anywhere between 30 and 60 pounds. I think that's 36 euro and 72 euros, somewhere between there. Ryanair's 60 pounds at the moment. I've met so many bike tourers. Many of them will stay on the same continent and just use really long trains, or they'll take a bus, when in fact flying is pretty simple. I'm not sure I would do this with a really expensive bike as well, but for touring it's perfect.
Good morning. How are you?